Strange World is probably the most boring movie I've ever seen. I don't even know why anybody got so worked up about it. It's just kind of a bunch of sci-fi crap that nothing happens in, and I don't understand. Plots happen, and characters don't really evolve all that much, and it's kinda sad, and I wish it wasn't this way. It basically just repeats the same generational trauma thing that Encanto did way better a year earlier. I don't even know what's the point of this frickin' film. I don't know, man. I'm feeling kinda sick or something. I don't know, and I just wish that I wasn't, and I want to complain about something today, so here we go. I'm gonna do that. So Strange World is a movie that came out in 2022 of Thanksgiving, and it bombed at the box office. It had no promotional material, like, whatsoever. It was kinda sad to see an animated film just not get promoted all that much, and to see it just struggle at the box office because of it, because Disney was run by a guy who hates animation. So that's lovely. I'm glad he's kicked out though. Now, its lack of promotional material was probably the reason that it bombed at the box office, but critically, people were wondering, oh, why is nobody liking it? It's not just because people didn't see it. It's because it sucks, dude. Like, there's nothing else to it. It just kind of sucks. This movie stars Jake Gyllenhaal as guy with beard and big nose, and then the rest of the cast I don't really care about or even bother to look up. I'm sure that they're nice people, but to be honest, I don't care. They didn't deserve to be in this awful film. Well, okay, maybe it's not awful. It just makes me apathetic. Apathy is a tragedy, and boredom is a crime, and all that jazz. So here we go. The good things. As I said before, this movie stars Jake Gyllenhaal. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. This movie has a comic book opening. I like comic books. This movie has the color green. I like the color green. This movie has a gay character. I like it when movies have gay characters. You, Disney. This movie has animation that's not terrible. I mean, it has some texture, but it mostly looks like a Hanna-Barbera 3D cartoon, so I don't know. I don't know. This movie's just strange. Alright, let's get to the real now. The bad parts. Okay, so the movie begins with Jake Gyllenhaal and his dad just kind of climbing a mountain because they want to explore what's on the other side of the mountain. What a really riveting plot detail. Anyway, so they're trying to get to the other side of the mountain, but Jake Gyllenhaal's dad really just wants to go, and then Jake Gyllenhaal was like, no, but I want to stay, and look, there's this plant, it's super duper cool. Do you want to, explore it a little more? And then his dad's like, no, we have to do it because we are the Clades, and we explore. This movie, I hate it. Oh, it's apathetic. Okay, anyway, so, where was I? Yeah, so this starts like the main conflict of the film. Jake Gyllenhaal wants to take these plants back home and make them a very energy efficient fuel source or whatever. And Jake Gyllenhaal's dad is like, you know what, son? F*** you. But instead of saying f*** you, he says screw you, or so, I don't know. It's a Disney film, so he doesn't say f*** you. Anyway, so then his dad goes to get the milk on the other side of the mountain, and then we cut back to like 20 years later. One of the worst things that ever happened in this movie, which is saying a lot of stuff because there's a lot of really bad things that happens in this movie. But one of the worst things that I noticed immediately was that there's this newspaper guy that comes to Jake Gyllenhaal's house 20 years later. And the guy is like, hey, Mr. Jake Gyllenhaal, Clade guy, I can't remember his name. Don't expect me to remember his name ever. He is Jake Gyllenhaal. So anyway, the newspaper guy comes and then he says, hey, without you and your power source, the town would never be this way, and we wouldn't have power at all. Because of your efforts, you're so cool, and you did this specific thing. You helped our town. Now, the reason this sucks is because, one, it fails in writing, because you should show and not tell in most cases. But also, this sucks because they literally show us, like, 1 minute later, how all of the plants and stuff are working and making the power do stuff. So this explanation was not worthy. Fuck you, Nailman guy. You absolutely ruined writing. I hate this guy. I wish he didn't exist. Okay, so yeah, remember that fuel source, that plant that Jake Gyllenhaal found like 20 years earlier when his dad went to go get the milk on the other side of the mountain? Yeah, so he's growing that, and he turned that into a power source, which is actually kind of interesting. I wish that they explored it more, but too late. Good. This movie moving at 1,000 miles an hour here, so we don't have time to take it in. And yeah, as I mentioned, they literally show us that how it works, so we don't need that explanation. Thank you, Mailman Guy, for ruining this movie already. And then I think I don't remember the events that happen in this film one by one, so I'm just gonna go off the limb here. Then we meet his son, and his son has a crush on this other guy, and it's very kind of cute scene. Very cute scene. They also have a dog with one leg missing, so it's a 3-legged dog, and the dog's name is Legend. But to be honest, the dog doesn't really matter, like at all. It's just the dog with 3 legs. I don't know what they were trying to do there. Were they trying to get points for including a dog with 3 legs, or I don't know what they were trying to do, or I don't know, man. Disney's just off the rails, and I can't do this review. Oh my god. Anyway, so this movie then tries to sprinkle in a little bit of world building, but falls completely on its face, I guess, because there's cards. They dance for a little bit. They make food. They're happy. We meet Jake Gyllenhaal's wife, who happens to be a pilot. Remember that now, because that's very, very important. Then a girl appears in her airplane thing and crashes not crashes, but lands on the Clade farm, and then is like, hey, you, I was with your dad and you on that one mission, and now I have this plane. We want to figure out what's going on, because the plants are actually dying and making all the power go out. So we're going to try and find out what the heck this is all about. Do you want to hop inside the plane and go on an adventure? And then Jake Gyllenhaal is like, no, at first, but then he finally says, oh, yeah, okay, I'll do it because I'm a Clade. And, well, no, he doesn't, I don't know. Anyway, so then he goes on the adventure, but then they realize that the son snuck on, including the dog, and then the mother is like, hey, I came to look for the son, but instead of taking the son and taking her son back up to the surface like it was intended, no, she just stays on the plane with them, and the son also stays on the plane, and the dog also stays on the plane, just so that we can have more characters in our poster. Anyway, so they go deep into the ground, and then, oh no, pterodactyls with no eyes or anything attacks the plane, and then they actually kill a guy. Like, he doesn't appear anymore after this. So then the wife takes a hold of the plane, because she's a pilot. I'm glad you remembered it. If you didn't, you failed. Anyway, so then they start going into the strange world, and then they crash into it, and then the son is like, I want to go exploring. So he does, and he just kind of takes a speeder bike from Star Wars, and then he goes vroom, and goes off into the distance. Then Jake Gyllenhaal's like, wait, what? I need to look for my son now. Where the heck did he go? But then on the way, he meets his dad. He meets his daddy, who left to get the milk. He's like, Father, did you find the milk? I'm not even reading a script. I don't know what I'm doing here. Um, anyway, so he meets his dad, and then his dad's like, I have no son, remember? And then the son's like, yes, you do. Yeah, you do. Like, I am your son. And then dad's like, oh, that's cool. And then we cut back to the son of Jake Gyllenhaal, and the son is like finding Splat, who's just this anthropomorphic merchandisable toy thing that I don't care about. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I hate this film. Oh, I can do it, I can do it. Okay, yeah, so then the son finds this gooey creature, and he names him Splat. And then they meet a couple more gooey creatures. These creatures' designs suck, by the way. Let me just rant on about that. The creatures just suck. They are almost not interesting in the slightest. They're all just a bunch of goo or just a bunch of abstract colors. None of them have interesting looking things. There are only like a handful that are like, oh, that's a cool, interesting idea. I wish we explored that more. And then miraculously, the daddy and Jake Gyllenhaal and the son all meet up, and then Legend and Splat are there too, but they don't really matter because they're just kind of there to make more toys. So anyway, they all meet up, and then they all just kind of truck along on this plane for like 20 minutes and do nothing, and more nothing, and more nothing, and more nothing, and more nothing. This movie's so boring. This movie's so boring. Oh my goodness, they just hang out on this plane for like what feels like 5 hours. It sucks. It sucks so badly. Why can't we just do interesting things? Anyway, so then they just go more deeper into the thing. They go deeper into the mountain, and then they decide to like kind of put some. I don't remember what they try and do, but somehow they figure out that the entire island that they live on is actually a giant sea turtle, and they're like, oh no, the mountain was the turtle's back, and we're in its immune system. All these creatures are just an immune system, which actually is very interesting and cool, and I wish that they figured this out earlier or sooner. And then the girl who owns the plane, who should be a twist film but kinda isn't, like she's like, no, we must stick to our mission and pull more plants and just figure this out. And then they accidentally kill it for a second. They accidentally kill the island and all its immune systems. And then like a monster alien creature thing replenishes it somehow because the Deus Ex Machina or whatever. How does I don't know. I just want to be over with this review. Okay, we're speed running the ending. Alright. So, they get out of there, they're heroes, and then they find a different source of food. Wait, not food. They find a different source of power, but they don't really explain it that well, because they get rid of the plants because we can't hurt the island anymore. Then they grow actual food, and then the sun is down there in the belly of the beast for some reason with his boyfriend or his crush or something. I don't know. Their relationship is not really, I don't know, it's not really explored, so it doesn't really matter. And then movie ends. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't like this film. Notice how I like barely mentioned the father of Jake Gyllenhaal? It's because it kind of doesn't matter all that much. I mean, you could, I don't know, you could make an argument against that, but like I don't remember a single thing he did that was noteworthy besides giving Jake Gyllenhaal, like, I guess, generational trauma. Again, Encanto did this better like a year ago, so Disney, how the hell did you do this? How'd you screw this up? It's only been a year. How did you do this? Anyway, yeah, this movie just isn't that great. I wish I didn't feel this way about it. I wish that Disney Animation could get back on its feet. I mean, look at Encanto. It was pretty good. Disney, why can't you do more of that? Do more things like Encanto. New ideas with cool characters and fun songs. Just put more songs. Stop doing sci-fi. It never works. It never works. It just never works. Yeah, but that's pretty much all I have to say in this review. I was really sick, so I didn't get to write down any thoughts on this film. But to be honest, I'm never gonna see this film again. I never want to ever see a picture of this movie. I don't want to see anything. I hate it. I am done with this. I am done. I am absolutely done with this movie. I never ever want to see it again. Yeah. So that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry that I didn't have any thoughts written down and this is kind of random. But it's the way it's gotta be. It's the way it's gotta be. Anyway, what's next on my list of videos?
From Disney and Pixar.
Oh, God.